Hey everyone, this is Tony George. On Thursday, we're going to get some college football picks to you. We'll call it one official one. We'll throw in a couple others for you today. Let's win some free picks. Our free picks have been stinking up the joint lately, and we'll be putting out another one on Saturday for you, and probably an NFL play tomorrow. And we'll get some free picks to you over the weekend. Obviously, today's a big day, but before I do that, I wanted to take a brief moment. The handicapping world yesterday lost a legend in Larry Ness. Larry passed away unexpectedly. Recently as well, we lost Brian Blessing here, a big media personality here in Vegas. He had a show on Sports Grid. And him and I used to do a lot of podcasts together over at Bang the Book together back in the day before I came to Docs. Larry had done my radio show numerous times as well. We worked together. We were at Covers together back in the early to mid 2000s. You see a lot of these young cats coming out of the woodwork that have just become experts overnight with videos and startup websites, and they know it all. 26 years old, I know what I'm doing. Just speaking of Brian and especially Larry, these guys are legends. They came, and I've been around them for 25, 30 years. Came up through the industry, grinded. Larry was on Proline with Jim Fye, Scott Spreitzer. I know he's good friends with Scott Spreitzer. Scott obviously is a little heavy-hearted today as well. Text with Scott yesterday, but nonetheless, these guys are legends, and they made their bones, old school. Came up through this thing for 30 years. And we've lost a couple of legends here in the last 6 months. And so tip of the hat, thoughts and prayers go out to friends and family and all that are affected. A big loss for the handicapping community. He used to have he taught me, was explaining one time over a couple beers. We were sitting over at Westgate, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And funny story, the guy was a sports trivia nut. We were in some bar and they had some sports trivia contest with a guy on the microphone yelling out questions. Larry answered like 15 in a row and they finally cut him off. 15 that nobody else could even answer, including me. Know them all. But he told me a lot about his handicapping philosophy when it come to baseball, and a lot of those things that he told me I use to this very day. And, just going to be missed by the community. Just sorry to see these giants go away. They should be recognized for their contributions to this industry. And I first knew of Larry Ness watching him on Proline on TV in my late teens, early 20s, right before I got in the business. Just a legitimate guy all the way around. So a sad loss for all of us who enjoyed his takes and picks and everything else in his personality. That being said, let's get to college football here. Get rid of the somber news and get rid of the excitement of week 2. I'll tell you what we got going. We have the 7-unit top play this weekend on a 4-pack of college football. Last year we went 86% against the spread over 16 top picks in college football, and we're going to nail this one. I would be very surprised if I didn't go 4-0 on Saturday. Put a lot of work into this card. They're out at Doc Sports at 4 Central today. Let's get to a couple of games. If you didn't tune in to my show with Bobby Faringo yesterday from Doc Sports, it's over at Twitter, my podcast. We talk college and pro football for about 40 minutes and a bunch of free plays and insights in there. Tune in. It's at T George Sports. And it's just archived on my profile page there, and you can just watch the whole podcast right there. If you're not a Twitter guy or gal, go over to Facebook. Just type in Tony George Sports, and I have a group page over there. You can watch it there. It's archived. One of the games I talked about on that podcast was Missouri and Kansas State. And the number is 8.5 with K-State. They've got Adrian Martinez, Nebraska's ex-human turnover machine quarterback, who can't make a smart decision in a tight ball game. And I think Missouri, I faded them last week and got beat. For your, I had them Louisiana Tech And I thought Louisiana Tech gave them a ball game, and I was very surprised about how well Missouri played. And 8.5's too many in this game, in my opinion. Let's see what Martinez does when the heat's on. Because I know what he did for 4 years at Nebraska. He stunk up the joint with 45 turnovers and some really bad decisions at the most crucial point in the game. And K-State had a layup last week against South Dakota State. Martinez went for 11 for 15 in a pedestrian effort. Now you're playing an SEC team, old rival from the Big 12. I liked Fresno State over Oregon State. Oregon State was gifted a game last week by Boise State. Just absolute train wreck Boise State was. They pulled their quarterback in the first quarter after 3 turnovers. They decided to have 2 more. So yeah, you're gonna lose on the road when you turn the ball over 4 times to open up the season. So make Oregon State look a little better than what they are. Fresno State's loaded on offense. I think they'll beat them. These are just leans. I'm just me and you taking a piss over a fence post, drinking a Jim Beam and 7. In the Baylor BYU game, Baylor pounded them last year, 38-24. You're out there in Provo. You're in the altitude. Playing a team with revenge. BYU's laying 3.5, and the total is 53.5. Last year, one thing that I looked, they played South Florida, BYU did last week. And the one thing I noticed about South Florida, and BYU better cinch this up, they gave up 251 yards in return yards to South Florida last week. And it was on the road, you know. Baylor's a team that I think can win the Big 12 this year. Last year in the game they beat them by 14. They outgained them on the ground, 303 yards to 67. If you can, and basically if you look at both teams up front on the offensive and defensive line, they return 90% of their starters on both sides of the ball, both teams. And you got Baylor breaking in a little bit new of a quarterback and some skill position guys. Makes it a little tentative, but when you have success on the ground like that, you really don't have to count on wide receivers and quarterbacks that much. And when you do count on them, play action pass is going to work if you're establishing that kind of ground dominance. That being said here, BYU is not without talent. They got a couple wide receivers that both got banged up in that South Florida game last week. You're going to want to check their status. But I'm going to take this over, officially, 53.5. For your free pick. It's a late game on Saturday night. Be sure and get over to Docs. We've got a 4-pack in college football with a 7-unit top play blowout winner. And we have a 5-pack in the NFL for Sunday, including 2 teasers on that card. We're going to have an interesting card, a 6-unit top play totals play on that card. And we have the Thursday night game as well on the side pick to open up the NFL season. Doc Sports, free $60, link in the description below. Be sure and get over to Docs and get yourself hooked up for football this weekend. And make it a great Thursday, guys. Enjoy the NFL opener.